Imagine you see a beautiful sunset, the sky ablaze with hues of orange, pink, and purple. It's so breathtaking. You can't help but take a picture and share it with your friends. But as soon as you label it beautiful, you start to see it differently. You start to notice the imperfections, the small clouds marring the perfect circle of the sun, the way the colors blend too abruptly. Suddenly, the sunset doesn't seem so perfect anymore. It becomes just another sunset, one of many you've seen. The same thing happens with virtue. When we label something as good, it loses its meaning. It becomes a set of rules and expectations, a burden to carry rather than a natural expression of our being. We start to judge ourselves and others, trying to fit into this rigid definition of goodness, and in doing so, we lose sight of the true essence of virtue, which is compassion, empathy, and love. These seemingly opposite concepts, like beauty and ugliness, goodness and evil, are not mutually exclusive but rather two sides of the same coin. They are interconnected, interdependent, and constantly giving birth to each other. Just as light and darkness create a contrast, beauty and ugliness define each other just as good and evil are necessary for moral growth. So they are necessary for a balanced and harmonious world. Being or non-being, difficult or easy, long or short, high or low, before or after, etc. These seemingly contradictory elements are not separate entities, but rather complementary parts of a larger whole. In a world that often tries to divide things into black and white, we must be aware of the fluidity and interconnectedness of all things. To live a life in balance, we must appreciate the beauty in imperfection, the goodness in darkness, and the harmony in contrast. So, the next time you see a beautiful sunset, don't just label it beautiful. Take a moment to appreciate the wholeness of the experience. The light, the shadows, the imperfections. Beauty is not a static quality. It's a dynamic dance of light and darkness, being and non-being, yin and yang. You must exercise effortless action, or acting in accordance with the natural flow of the universe without any personal desires or expectations. A person who embodies this is like a dancer who moves with grace and fluidity, guided by the rhythm of the music rather than by a fixed set of steps. Act without self-interest, nurturing all beings without seeking possession or recognition, like a selfless gardener who tends to the garden, allowing the flowers to bloom naturally, without imposing their own designs or expectations. When success comes, do not seek recognition or praise. Understand that your actions are not about personal gain or ego gratification, but about contributing to the well-being of the world. Imagine a world where people don't crave recognition or material possessions, where they're not driven by greed or lustful desires. Instead, they're content with who they are and what they have, living in harmony with themselves and the world around them. Our tendency to idolize the wealthy, powerful, or beautiful can lead to envy, jealousy, or conflict. When we place such high value on external factors, we lose sight of our own worth and the intrinsic value of others. This creates a sense of scarcity or competition, leading to disputes or discord. Similarly, the pursuit of rare or hard-to-obtain objects often fuels greed and acquisitiveness. We become obsessed with acquiring these items, believing they will bring us happiness or fulfillment. However, these possessions often become sources of stress and anxiety, as we constantly worry about losing them or being surpassed by others. While the allure of lust and sensual pleasures may provide momentary gratification, they ultimately lead to dissatisfaction and distraction. They cloud our judgment, making it difficult to focus on what truly matters. In contrast to this materialistic, an ego-driven approach. You can choose the path of simplicity, humility, and inner fulfillment. We must empty our minds of worldly desires and distractions, allowing our true nature to shine through. This involves cultivating virtue, not in the sense of adhering to rigid rules or expectations, but in the sense of living a life of compassion, generosity, and integrity. By weakening our worldly ambitions and strengthening our essence, we can break free from the shackles of greed, envy, or lust. We can focus on our inner well-being and the well-being of others, rather than chasing after fleeting external rewards. When we act out of a sense of need or desperation, we often create problems for ourselves and others. However, when we act spontaneously, guided by our inner wisdom and compassion, we find that things tend to fall into place effortlessly. Think of nature like a giant, caring parent that takes care of everything with complete goodness. It's like when a plant starts as a tiny seed, and nature helps it grow into a big, strong plant, providing what it needs until it's time to harvest the fruits or vegetables. In the old days, people used to make straw dogs as offerings in ceremonies. These straw dogs were treated well during the rituals, but once the ceremony was over, they were no longer important. Nature, in a way, treats all living things similarly. It supports and nurtures them, but they might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Similarly, a wise and kind person might seem a bit distant or tough at times. They might do things that seem strict or unkind, just like the ancient customs with the straw dogs, but deep down, it's because they see the bigger picture and understand what's truly essential for everyone. Imagine the space between the sky and the earth as a magical tool. Like a bellows, it looks empty, but it's always ready to provide what is needed. The more it moves, the more it gives. This is a bit like how the more effort you put into something, the more you can achieve. Using too many words can be tiring and not always helpful. It's better to focus on what's real and important on the inside. Just like the true essence of things, it's like concentrating on the core of a problem or idea instead of talking too much, without getting to the heart of the matter. Imagine the sky, heaven, and the ground, earth, as really strong or lasting things. They don't wear out or disappear because they don't exist just for themselves. They are part of something bigger. Think about a tree. A tree doesn't just grow for itself. It provides shade, oxygen, and homes for animals. It gives to the world around it. Because of this giving nature, trees can live for a very long time. Now, consider a person who is like a saint, someone really wise and good. They don't put themselves first. They care about others. It might seem like they're not focusing on their own needs, but strangely, they end up doing really well. Picture it like a game of teamwork. Even though the saint isn't trying to be the star, they find themselves leading the team. By not being too concerned with themselves, they accomplish a lot. It's because they're not only focused on what's good for them, but also on what's good for everyone around them. They're fulfilling their true nature by caring for others and not just thinking about themselves. Imagine having a lot of money, like a river overflowing with water. If you're too proud and show off your wealth too much, it's like the water causing damage by flooding. It's better to control and manage it from the start. Think of fame like sharpening a knife. The more you want and show off, the sharper it becomes. But just like a very sharp knife is more likely to break, wanting too much fame and lead to problems. Now, imagine wealth and treasures are like dreams that you can't really hold in your hands. If you're too arrogant and show off how much you have, it can bring trouble and blame your way